All right, everyone, going to be getting into the Sunday night showdown here between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be a fun game. Let's go ahead and get into it. So as always, I like to start off with a game preview. So let's go ahead and get into that. What we're going to see is that this is going to be a high scoring game. The game total is at about 48 total points. Looking at this, the Niners are actually 5.5 point favorites, which I do find to be a little bit strange. And that's mostly just due to the injuries that the Niners are dealing with. Okay. And the Cowboys are a team that, sure, when they don't show up, they get absolutely blown out. Coming in off of a bye week, I kind of expect them to show up. At the same time, the typical approach I've went with the Cowboys in terms of betting on the point spread is really you could tease it one way or the other. Typically, in this situation, I wouldn't mind betting on the Cowboys to win or betting them to lose by more than 10 points. That's just kind of how the Cowboys have been playing for the past 2 years. Now, yes, obviously the Niners are pretty darn banged up at this moment. The biggest question is just how healthy are the players that are going to be active in this game going to be? So, for instance, George Kittle is expected to play, but still currently questionable. I'm operating under the assumption that he is just simply going to be good to go. And if he is, he should be in for a big game in this game, just given the fact that Brandon Ayuk is already out. And then on top of that, maybe Deebo Samuel. I'm kind of expecting him to be good to go, at least in terms of when he's on the field. He should be good to go. Maybe his workload gets a little bit reduced, but for the most part, I think he'll be good to go. That's just a guessing game. We really don't know really either situation. So it does make it more difficult. We have seen who benefits the most, really, when two of those guys are banged up and not really going, and that's Juwan Jennings, but he is also out. And so again, in terms of the players that are questionable that we expect to play, I am kind of expecting them to get a good enough workload in this game. Now, who can we expect to maybe get more snaps? I wouldn't be surprised to see Jacob Cowing get a little bit more work in this game. Ricky Pearsall would kind of be the easy answer, I would say, but we just that feels like a guessing game, and most likely it's probably just going to be their workload gain split. At the same time, I do expect Kyle Juszczyk to get a decent amount of work in this game, relatively speaking, in the sense that he's going to get probably multiple targets, probably going to get multiple opportunities that he typically wouldn't get if this team was fully healthy and ready to go. Now, for the Dallas Cowboys, they are, pretty healthy, minus Brendan Cook still being out, but we're not too worried about that. The biggest thing that we have to talk about is really what will the role be for Rico Dowdle? Just simply because, well, one, I feel like it's been a mistake. Every time they put Zeke on the field, the offense doesn't get going. They need to commit to Rico a little bit more, but we have got news. Then Dalvin Cook is now going to be activated off of the practice squad. How much work is he going to get? We just don't know. This is a guessing game here as well. Is he eating into Rico's role? Is he eating into Zeke's role? I would imagine it'd be more Zeke, just because Rico's a little bit different of a runner. But at the same time, that's knowing that's going to lead to a little bit less predictability in this game as well. So let's go ahead and get into the top prop bets that we have in this game right now. And so one of the better bets that's currently popping up is going to be Rico Dowdle to get under his fantasy score, which at the start of the week when this line was available, before we really got news that Dalvin Cook was going to be active for sure in this game, I was thinking that this would be one that we would want to be betting the over with. This is actually one that I already have exposure to. So I don't really like the fact that the data is telling us to bet the under here. This is one where personally I'm just staying away from. This kind of feels a lot like the Rachaad White one where Vegas was kind of telling us to stay away. Now, Vegas mostly seems to be right with that Rachaad White one, minus the fact that he scored a touchdown. Again, touchdowns are a little bit fluky when it comes to fantasy score. But just this, given the fact that we don't know kind of what his workload is going to be, again, coming in off of the bye week, I would expect to see more of Rico, but again, given that Dalvin Cook news, it does make sense to stay away. And so I'm just going to take Rico out of the sample size, and then we're going to see we got Dak for over an INT. That's the best one that we currently have, his rush yards. I don't feel the need to go out of my way to target that one. This is another one that's kind of annoying here. Jalen Tolbert, 3 receptions. You guys probably know my thoughts about Jalen Tolbert thus far. I think he's looked really good. I think he's really stepped up and looked like Brandon Cooks a lot. And so I like the fact that he's been playing in that role. I would much rather bet the over. I think this one has a great chance to be a push. That's how I'm going to be treating it, and I'm going to be betting in that way as well. Like the fact that the projection data also gives some reception line of about 3.3 as well. To me, that just feels to be a little bit too low. Also, just one that also seems to be a little bit too low. Not exactly one we need to go out of our way to target, but again, guys, given the fact that this is a one-game slate, we can't always be too choosy with the lines that we're attacking. And Jake Ferguson over 40.5 receiving yards is not a terrible one. And I'd be fine with that one as well. Do want to call it this real quickly. Dak Prescott as well, his passing yards. We are seeing a middling opportunity here. The passing yards is off by 4 compared to PrizePicks and Underdog. The PrizePicks line is a little bit high, and the Underdog line is a little bit too low compared to the average sportsbook line. So just naturally speaking, we probably should be chasing the middle here where we are betting both sides of this. And I think that's the route that we're going to want to go here. Let's stay here on PrizePicks, but let's jump into the San Francisco 49ers and seeing if we're getting any bets there. And really up until we get that confirmation that everyone's going to be good to go, lines will probably be moving throughout this slate. And so my approach has been to mostly bet everyone unders or everyone overs. So like to me, guys, Brock Purdy is another one where we have a milling opportunity here. Okay. If they are this banged up, I kind of think that this line is a little bit too high for Brock Purdy and his passing yards. I probably would want to be betting the under here. But again, given the fact that this line is off by 4 compared to PrizePicks and Underdog, I'm perfectly fine trying to hit a middle here and betting the over on Underdog and then maybe betting the under on PrizePicks. The issue that I have there is one of the better prop bets we have is actually going to be Deebo Samuel to get over 4.5 receptions. Again, if we knew that he was going to be playing his normal snap share, we would just be hammering this one home. And so, again, just the bets that we should be making tonight are based off of fully healthy and betting accordingly, and then maybe doing a separate slip where we're doing the exact opposite. I think that's the best route to go today. But we're going to see the board is pretty limited here because we just don't really have that news. But I do think George Kittle is going to be someone that has a good game. I do want to bet on George Kittle, but his props are extremely limited. And so that's a little bit annoying to me. I will bet on his over receiving yards right now, though. And I'll be doing Jalen Tolbert's receptions, but if you guys want to do his receiving yards as well, I'd be fine with that. He could get his receiving yards in one catch. Obviously, he's not going to do that with his receptions. And that might be the better route to go. But I'm going to go receptions. And so looking at what a PrizePicks bet slip would be for this game, what I would be doing would be just probably running out these 3. Now, I am including these 2 in here because, again, we want to take advantage of those middling opportunities. So I just want to make that clear. If you want to bet these 2 for the unders and then do the exact opposite on Underdog, you can do that, again, because the lines are definitely incorrect on both sides. Should be closer to the middle. Maybe we can hit a middle as well and have a really good night. But we want to be chasing the first 3. And so real quickly, just jumping into the top Underdog prop bets that we have. I don't exactly like this. I will probably be running these out, though. It's kind of one of those annoying slates with like these under fantasy score prop bets that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm kind of okay doing it just because that's what the data is telling us to do. And in this way, I would say if these are incorrect, then we probably are going to have a better day on PrizePicks slightly, just in the sense that Jake Ferguson be betting is over. We're already betting Jalen Tolbert's over receptions. So it can work in that regard. But again, I also think just doing the passing yards is going to be the better route to go. So hopefully that makes sense. Kind of a more simple and quick video here for you guys. That's going to be all. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. Do appreciate that. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access for just $10 a month. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.